morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, it's finally time to talk about Sirfetch'd. Sirfetch'd was one of my very favourite Pokemon that came around in Sword and Shield, one of my very favourite new Pokemon, and rather upsettingly, the Sword and Shield base set had no Galarian Sirfetch'd. Just wasn't a thing. That made me extremely sad. The good news is, in VMAX Rising, we are getting a Sirfetch'd. So that means we can finally have a chat about Sirfetch'd. I should mention our translation here comes from lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net, a wonderful Pokemon website full of wonderful Pokemon things. So if we start off having a little bit of a look at the basics here, we've got, obviously it's a stage 1 Pokemon, remember it is an evolution unlike the original Farfetch'd, or indeed the Galarian Farfetch'd, and it's got 130 HP. It's fine. It's what we get from things like Naganadel. There's plenty of non-GX, non-V single price Pokemon that don't have 130, so it's fine. Retreat cost of 2 is annoying, but Balloon will give you free retreat, so it could be worse. And weakness to Psychic, it's alright. It's not terrible. I mean, Mewtwo and Mew is still a thing, so it's not the best weakness, not the worst weakness. Do remember, even though you're a fighting Pokemon, though, you can, if you so wish, use Jirachi GX to actually take away your weakness. Jirachi GX doesn't take away weakness from Psychic Pokemon, it takes away Psychic weakness of any Pokemon, which is funny now that Psychic Pokemon are going to be weak to Dark, not Psychic. And you're a fighting Pokemon, and I've said it a lot lately and I'm going to keep saying it, being a fighting Pokemon is great. It means you're hitting weakness against Morpeko, which is looking really good. It means you're hitting weakness against Snorlax V Max, which is looking really good. Silvally GX looking really good. And Pikachu and Zekrom, that as soon as Sword and Shield dropped, won the first giant regional in Japan. Then you add in Diancie Prism Star to do an extra 20 damage, and Martial Arts Dojo to either do an extra 10 damage if you're not behind on prizes, or an extra 40 if you are, and Karate Belt to reduce your attack cost by 1 fighting energy if you're behind on prizes, and we've got the makings of a really good typing. It's great to be fighting right now. But what does it do? Well, the first attack, we do not need a translation. 1 fighting energy, 40 damage. It is pretty much the very definition of fine. It's alright. It's not particularly great. It's not particularly bad. Now, usually, when I tell you about things like this, I basically say, well, you know what? It's not good enough. 40 damage isn't enough. You'll get Ditto Prism Star, but you won't really get any of the others. You won't even get Snom. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is a fighting Pokemon. So now, let's say you're against a 60 HP Pokemon like Inkay. Well, now all of a sudden, you add a Diancie Prism Star, you're hitting 60 damage, Inkay goes down. Let's say you're against a 70 HP Pokemon, think something like Poipole. Well, you add a Martial Arts Dojo, and oh look, now they're going down. You can get KOs very easily on evolving Pokemon. It is slightly upsetting that you're a stage 1, but this is one of those Pokemon where it is significantly advantageous to go first. Because the deal is this, you go first, you get your Galarian Farfetch'd down, it is your opponent's turn. Your opponent may well end up playing some evolving Pokemon, hopefully they do, but they don't get a chance to evolve them, because you can't evolve the turn you play, unless there's some other mechanic going on. It is then your turn, and on your turn, you can evolve. Your opponent has not yet had a chance to evolve. Well, would you look how that worked out? Then you're just taking out all those evolving Pokemon. That's what I see this first attack as doing, and doing that, it's really quite nice. But you see, it's the second attack which I actually like way better. 1 fighting, 2 colourless energy, 180 damage, and you can't use the attack next turn. Okay. But, and I feel like I say this constantly with different Pokemon because it comes up so often. How many different Pokemon have we had that can't use this attack next turn? Volcanion, saw loads of play. Buzzwole saw loads of play. Ho-Oh saw loads of play. As a side note, Ho-Oh was a 2-prize Pokemon that did 180 for 4 energy. Lapras saw a bunch of play in some formats. It really depended. I mean, really, when Max Elixir rotated out, even though Lapras didn't, it just was no longer as good anymore. Now, to be clear, Galarian, and it is called Galarian Sirfetch'd, that's the naming, apparently, it is slightly harsher. Because it doesn't actually say you can't use it next turn. It says you cannot use it until Galarian Sirfetch'd essentially is no longer your active Pokemon. You need to go to the bench and reuse it. Okay. How many times did Buzzwole players wait a turn to attack? Or Ho-Oh players we never waited a turn to attack. We always just use something like Switch. Or we use something like Keldeo and Floatstone. So actually, no one really cares. And we do have a modern equivalent of Keldeo and Floatstone now. It is Dawnwing's Necrozma paired with Balloon. So, okay, it's a really harsh way of doing it, but it doesn't actually matter. Like, at all. Because you're just going to get out the active and back in again. And no one is going to care. And let's be clear about this, right? 180 damage for free energy on a non-GX Pokemon is stupid. Like, really stupid good. It's phenomenal. Like I say, Ho-Oh was 2 prize, it did it for 4 energy. Tapu Koko V does 200 for free energy, except it's a 2 prize Pokemon, and it can't use twin energy. This is probably the part of the video where we need to have a bit of a chat about twin energy. Twin energy is the one I showed you yesterday. I think it's going to end up having been yesterday when we look at the schedule. It is double colorless energy, but it can only be attached to a non-GX, non-V Pokemon. Like this. If you're behind on prizes, Karate Belt, twin energy, now you're paying the entire cost of the attack. That's ridiculous. That's so easy. One of the things about fighting Pokemon for a long time has been that we cannot accelerate energy very well at all. We all used Carbink for a while. Carbink Break, actually. Gotta love that Carbink Break. Groudon from Cosmic Eclipse will work. I have actually seen that popping up in some Japanese decks, but let's say it's a very niche play. But now you don't even care. And fighting generally has this trade-off. It's really expensive, but don't worry your pretty little heads about it, because you can go Diancie, Prism Star, and Martial Arts Dojo and all of that to do extra damage, so it evens out. It ends up being worth it. Galarian Sirfetch'd gets to have easy attack cost to meet while doing all the extra. Twin energy and a Karate Belt, done. Fighting energy and a Welder with 2 fire energy, done. Fighting energy and a Malamar deck, done. It's really easy to get this rolling. I mean, if you're playing it in a fighting deck, you're probably going twin energy, but even so, it's just awesome. And if you're not behind on prizes so you can't use Karate Belt, just use that first attack. Because we need to go back now to talking about the fact that fighting Pokemon don't actually do the amount stated. Plus 20 for Diancie Prism Star, plus 10 or 40 for Martial Arts Dojo, depending on whether you're behind on prizes or not, plus 10 for Vitality Band if you're not using Karate Belt. So this 180 is actually really good. 180 will get rid of a Blacephalon. Yay, that's 2 prizes. Life is good. It will get rid of a Victini V. Yay, that's 2 prizes. This is good. But then we go further. Once you add Diancie Prism Star, you're doing 200. So stuff like Ultra Necrozma, that's now going down. If you're behind on prizes with Martial Arts Dojo, you're now up to 240. I mean, I would say Pikachu and Zekrom, but Yeah, you see, Pikachu and Zekrom, you're getting a one-hit KO anyway because of the weakness. One of the cool things is that Snorlax v Max, you're actually getting a one-hit KO without any extra damage modifiers. If you keep going, you get up to like 250, which can all be done on a Pokemon that can get the energy in a single turn and only gives up one prize. I legitimately think this could be phenomenal. I mean, I was getting all excited about Regirock V, and I love Regirock V. Regirock V is cool. Regirock V is probably my favourite of the Regis that I've seen so far. I am in on Regirock V. But the fact of the matter is, Regirock V, for the same cost, does 190 and 30 to itself. And it gives up 2 prizes. Okay, it is a basic, to be fair, which means I can go second to get it going turn 1. But make no mistake about it, the energy cost ain't difficult to pay, the damage is great, and to be honest, the only things you're not one-hitting are Tag Team GXs and non-weak Pokemon VMAX. Like everything else, you're one-hit KOing. Ooh, Zamazenta. Yeah, if you're behind on prizes, Martial Arts Dojo, Dancy, Prismatar, 240, boom, 2 prizes. It is literally non-weak Tag teams and VMAXs are the only things you're not one-hitting. And don't worry about the whole, oh, you can't use it again while you're active, because whenever we've had the can't use it next turn, we've treated it like this. Get in and out the active, you'll be fine. I love this. I'm giving it 4 Wassies, which I feel like I'm giving everything over the past couple days, but I'm sorry, I think this has a huge amount of potential. Also, if in a pre-release format, you can somehow pull this with a couple of Twin Energy, it's going to be phenomenal. Won't be easy to pull those things. Will be phenomenal when it works. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I love this, but I want to know how much you love it. So, let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are still pretty gosh darned awesome. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.